I was 1,000 miles away in Denver when my phone vibrated on the mahogany conference table. Motion detected, living room. I opened the app, expecting a delivery. Instead, I saw my parents, Sandra and Stephen, standing inside my home with a stranger holding a clipboard, a contractor. They weren't tending to my plants. They were measuring the glass wall of my hydroponic garden. My mother's voice came through the speaker, small but clear. Tanner needs this space for his content studio. Just knock the wall down. Morgan won't make a scene. She was right about one thing. I wouldn't make a scene. I would make a war. Drop a comment and let me know where you're listening from and what time it is for you right now. I'd love to know who's part of our community. I didn't scream. I didn't call the police. Not yet. That would only fix the surface. I needed total demolition. I closed the security app and booked the next flight out of Denver International, one way. I wasn't going back to visit family. I was going back to liquidate a failed investment. I knew exactly when to strike. Tanner wasn't discreet. For weeks, he had been promoting a major reveal for his followers this Saturday at 2 p.m., a grand opening for his new content house. He wanted an audience. I decided I would give him exactly that. I would be his surprise guest. The flight to Seattle took 3 hours. I didn't spend a single minute mourning my parents or the relationship I thought we had. I worked. I bought the Wi-Fi package, opened my laptop, and created a folder on my desktop called the Ledger. I began pulling files. Bank statements from 5 years ago, Venmo histories, signed agreements for business loans that were never repaid. Every single transaction went into that folder. $4,000 for podcast equipment gathering dust in a garage. $7,000 for a drop shipping business that never shipped a product. $10,000 for a car down payment for job interviews he never attended. The total, $115,000. This wasn't brotherly support, it was embezzlement. My parents hadn't just enabled him, they had facilitated the theft of my future to fund his delusions. And now they were literally measuring my walls for destruction. I stared at the clouds outside the window. For years, I treated my family like a charity case, believing my financial stability was a resource I owed them. If I gave enough, I thought, they would finally see me as valuable. But the numbers on my screen proved otherwise. I wasn't a valued family member. I was an asset they were ready to strip. I closed the spreadsheet and picked up my phone. There was one person who might still be on my side, Haley, Tanner's fiancée. She had called 3 times yesterday, voicemails anxious and urgent. I hadn't listened at the time, distracted by work. Now I understood her desperation. I typed a message. I see what they are doing. I land in 2 hours. Do not tell them. Meet me at the airport. 3 dots appeared instantly, then a reply. Thank God. I have documents you need to see. It's worse than you think. I turned off my phone and leaned back. The anger in my chest cooled into something solid, heavy. I wasn't afraid of the confrontation anymore. I was ready for it. They wanted to break down my walls. Fine. But I had built the foundation, and I knew exactly where to place the charges to bring it all down. I sat in a rental car 3 blocks from my driveway, watching the clock tick toward 2 p.m. My laptop glowed with the ledger, a complete record of my relationship with my family, quantified in cold rows and columns. 5 years, $115,000, $20,000 for Tanner's lifestyle brand launch party, buying tables at a club for strangers, $8,000 for emergency rent he claimed a roommate stole, though the roommate had moved out 3 months prior. Countless transfers of $500, $1,000, $2,000, bleeding me quietly over time. I closed my eyes and pictured my sunroom, the hydroponic garden that was my sanctuary. Months of care, research, and attention went into it. It was the only place I felt completely at peace, surrounded by the hum of water pumps and the scent of basil and mint. And now, they wanted to destroy it with a sledgehammer. To them, it was wasted space. They wanted to replace it with ring lights, green screens, and a neon sign, Tanner's World. They wanted to turn my sanctuary into a factory of noise. For years, people had asked why I kept giving, kept paying. Now I understood. It wasn't generosity or love, it was trauma. I had spent my life forging invisible chains. My parents' affection was a volatile currency. If I wasn't useful, I was invisible. I learned to anticipate their needs, pay for approval before it was asked. The $115,000 wasn't a loan, it was a survivor's tax. I was paying protection money to people who were supposed to protect me. The bank was closed, the subscription expired. I checked the security app one last time. Inside, they laughed. My mother directed Tanner's friends as they moved furniture and set up equipment. They looked at ease, comfortable in their theft. They believed they owned me because I had spent a lifetime renting myself to them. I snapped the laptop shut. I wasn't just evicting them from my house. I was evicting the scared little girl inside me who thought she had to pay to exist. I put the car in gear. It was time to go home. Saturday, 2 p.m. The invasion was underway. Tanner's leased sports car blocked 2 spots. My parents' SUV was on the lawn, the front door wide open. Inside, strangers moved around, cameras and lights treating my home like a public park. I walked to the house. Bass-heavy music rattled the windows. My grandmother's restored armchair sat abandoned on the wet grass, a half-empty energy drink on its armrest. On the porch, my mother directed Tanner's friends carrying a green screen. She looked energized, radiant, the way she always did when catering to Tanner. She saw me. For a second, she froze. Then her expression shifted from shock to annoyance. "Morgan, what are you doing here? I thought you were in Denver until Tuesday." "I came back early," I said, voice flat. "I wanted to see the renovations." "Oh, don't start," she snapped, waving dismissively. "We're just moving a few things around for Tanner. He has a major event today. You should be happy for him. He's finally making it." "Making it?" I repeated. "By knocking down my walls?" "It's just a wall, Morgan. And those plants, honestly, the whole setup was a waste of space. Tanner needs room to create. You need to relax anyway. You're always so tense." I walked past her into the living room. It looked nothing like my home. My furniture was gone, replaced with beanbags and tripods. In the center, under a massive ring light, stood Tanner. He was filming, talking animatedly to his viewers. "Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to the new HQ. This is where everything happens. We got the crypto charts, the gaming setup, He stopped when he noticed me in frame. His smile faltered for a second, then he forced it back. "Yo, look who it is! Special guest appearance! My sister Morgan flew in to celebrate the launch. Say hi to the stream, Morgan." He tried to put an arm around me, pulling me into the moment. I stepped back. The live chat on his phone moved rapidly. Thousands watching. "Good. I'm not here to celebrate," I said, looking straight into the camera. "I'm here to evict you." Tanner barked out an uneasy laugh. "Classic Morgan, always joking. Guys, she's hilarious." "I'm not joking," I said, keeping my tone steady. I reached into my bag and pulled out the folder. "This is a cease and desist. And this," I held up the stack of documents, "is the ledger." "Morgan, stop." My father, Stephen, came out of the kitchen, irritated and flushed. "You're embarrassing him. Put that away." "No," I said. I turned toward the live stream. "For everyone watching, my name is Morgan. I own this house. Tanner doesn't live here. He lives in our parents' basement. And the success he's bragging about, it was paid for with $115,000 he took from me over the past 5 years." The room went quiet. The music cut off. Tanner stared at the phone, then at me, his face draining of color. "Turn it off," he hissed. "Turn the stream off." "Why?" I asked. "Don't you want your viewers to see the real story? The one where you ask for rent money and spend it at clubs? The one where you need mom to help you enter my house while I'm out of town?" I opened the folder and read from the first bank statement, August 12th. 12th, $4,000 for podcast equipment. Never recorded a single episode. September 15th, $7,000 for a business license. No business created. January 4th, $10,000 for a car down payment. Where's the car, Tanner? That's enough. My mother grabbed my arm, her nails pressing into my skin. "You're ruining his big moment. How can you be so selfish?" "Selfish?" I looked at her hand, then at her face. "You were measuring my home for demolition while I was away, and I'm the selfish one?" "We were going to tell you," she insisted. "We wanted it to be a surprise." "A surprise? Like when you gave him my college fund, or when you co-signed his loans using my credit?" Tanner lunged for the phone, trying to end the stream but dropped it. It hit the floor, still broadcasting. The comments exploded. "Is this real? Did he really steal from his sister? Scammer, fake guru." I looked down at the phone, then at Tanner. He wasn't a rising star. He was someone who relied on pretending he was one. "Get out," I said. All of you. Leave my house. You can't do this, my father argued. We're family. Not today, I said. Right now you're trespassing. I stood firm as my father tried to form another defense, but before he could speak, the front door opened. Haley walked in. Tanner straightened. Babe, what are you doing here? Tell them to stop. They're ruining everything. Haley didn't look at him. She looked at me, gave a small nod, then stepped into the room holding a manila envelope. Her hands were shaking, but her voice grew steadier. I'm not here to help you, Tanner. I'm here to end this. End what? Tanner laughed nervously, glancing at the still-live phone. Babe, not now. Yes, now, she said. She took out a legal document. Do you recognize this? Tanner squinted, then his eyes widened. Panic broke across his face. Where did you get that? From the glove box of your new car, Haley said. The one you told me you bought with crypto profits. The one you claimed was paid off. She held it toward the phone and then toward my parents. It's a lease agreement for a $68,000 SUV. And look at the signature. My father leaned in. That says Morgan. Exactly, Haley said. He didn't buy the car, he leased it and forged Morgan's signature as co-signer because his credit is ruined. I felt the air leave my lungs. I grabbed the paper from her. My name was written in a poor imitation of my handwriting, but the uneven loops gave him away. You forged my signature? I asked quietly. You used my identity? It was just a cosign, Tanner said, desperate. I was going to make the payments. I just needed help getting approved. The car is part of the brand. You have to spend money to make money. That's not spending, I said. That's fraud. But Haley wasn't finished. She pulled out more papers. And there's more. Morgan, after you texted me about the security feed, I checked everyone's credit. She held up 2 more sheets. Sandra, Stephen, you have 3 credit cards maxed out under your names, opened 6 months ago. My mother's face tightened. What? No, we only have 1 card. Not anymore, Haley said. Tanner opened them with your social security numbers. He's put $40,000 of debt under your names. You're already in default. Your credit is damaged. Silence spread through the room. My father's phone pinged with an alert. He read the notification, scrolled, and looked up at Tanner with a stunned expression. You stole from us, he said quietly. After everything we've done for you, after we mortgaged the house for your legal fees, you stole our identities. Tanner backed away, shaking his head. I was going to pay it back once the crypto course took off. You all just lack vision. Vision? I said. You drained your parents, used my identity, and tried to destroy my home. That isn't vision. It's exploitation. I looked at my parents. They stood there, shaken. The son they supported for years had taken from them without hesitation. Get out, I said again. All of you. Now. My mother cried, Morgan, please. We didn't know. You didn't want to know, I said. You spent so long building him up that you didn't see what he was doing to you. And you were so busy undermining me that you didn't see I was the one holding everything together. I pointed toward the door. Leave before I call the police and add trespassing to the list. They left. My father unsteady, my mother in tears, Tanner running toward a car that would soon be repossessed. Haley stayed behind. I'm sorry, she said. I should have told you sooner. You told me when it counted, I said. Thank you. She nodded and left, closing the door on the wreckage of my family. I stood in silence. The ring light still glowed, the green screen remained, but the noise was gone. The intruders were gone. I picked up Tanner's phone from the floor. The stream had ended when the battery died, but the comments were permanent, and so was the truth. I walked to my garden wall. It was intact. They hadn't touched it. Pressing my hand against the cool glass, I felt my sanctuary was safe. My ledger was closed. For the first time, I wasn't just surviving. I was victorious. The police arrived 12 minutes later. I had called them, reporting trespassers refusing to leave. 2 officers approached, professional and neutral. I met them on the porch and handed over a USB with security footage, the live stream recording, the forged lease, and credit reports. He's inside, I said, pointing to Tanner, who sat on the floor with his head in his hands. Tanner committed identity theft against me and our parents. He also trespassed and damaged property. The officers went inside. I watched as Tanner argued at first, his voice rising, claiming misunderstanding and framing it as a family dispute. Haley then handed them the forged lease. The officer reviewed it, looked at Tanner, and pulled out handcuffs. Tanner, stand up. Hands behind your back. My mother screamed, a raw, desperate sound. No, you can't take him. He's just a boy. He didn't mean it. She lunged, grabbing the officer's arm. He gently but firmly moved her aside. Ma'am, your son is under arrest for fraud and identity theft. Morgan, stop them, she shouted at me. Tell them it was a mistake. He's your brother. I searched her face for maternal instinct. All I saw was panic, her shield gone. She watched her son get arrested for destroying her identity and credit, and still tried to protect him at my expense. I did not give him permission, I said to the officer. Press charges for everything. You monster, my father yelled. You're destroying this family, sending your brother to prison. No, I replied calmly. He sent himself when he forged my signature. You helped him by teaching him he could take whatever he wanted. Tanner was taken away, crying, pleading, terrified. I felt nothing, no satisfaction, no pity, only the clean certainty of justice. My parents remained behind, huddled in the wreckage of their son's failed empire. Small, defeated, they turned their anger on me. We'll lose the house, my father said. Because of those credit cards? We can't pay them. We'll be homeless. It's your fault. My fault? I asked. Did I open the cards? Spend the money? You called the police, he shouted. We could have fixed this, worked something out. Now he has a record. Now we have nothing. I realized it wasn't denial. They were surviving. Admitting Tanner was a criminal meant admitting they raised one. Admitting he stole meant admitting their love was exploited. It was easier to make me the villain. I'm issuing a formal trespass notice, I said. Return here, and you'll be arrested, too. Leave. You can't do that, my mother whispered. We're your parents. You were my parents, I said. Now you're just people who broke into my home. I held the door open. They waited, expecting the daughter who always fixed things, but she was gone. I had evicted her, too. They left. I closed and deadbolted the door. It clicked in the silence like a gunshot. 3 months later, the glass wall still stands. The contractor's tape is a distant memory, replaced by the steady drip of nutrient feeds. My hydroponic garden is thriving. The basil brushes the glass, the mint and lemon balm scent the air. It rained outside, but the warmth inside felt luxurious. I poured 3 cups of tea from the peppermint leaves I had harvested. Aunt Susan sat in my grandmother's chair, restored after the lawn ordeal. Haley was beside her, no longer wearing her engagement ring. I heard from Morgan yesterday, Susan said softly, looking out the window. The bank finalized the foreclosure on Tuesday. They're moving to a small apartment near the airport. Are they okay? They're alive, Haley said cautiously, still paying Tanner's lawyer, still claiming Morgan stole their retirement. I sipped my tea, waiting for guilt, the familiar weight telling me I should fix it. But it didn't come. Only peppermint and rain. Let them talk, I said. If blaming me helps them sleep in the bed they made, they can have it. It's the last thing I'll give them. I moved to my tomato vines. A yellowing leaf clung to a healthy stem, draining energy from the fruit. I snipped it off cleanly. For 32 years, I believed family was permanent, a shared obligation. But as the dead leaf fell, I understood. Family is a title earned every day. Biology gives you relatives. Respect gives you family. I had been watering a dead plant, hoping it would bloom. Cutting it off wasn't cruelty, it was survival. I changed my number that morning. They can't reach me. Haley smiled, tired but genuine. Good. Peace suits you, Morgan. It really does, she said. I looked around my home. No ring lights, no intruders, only the hum of water pumps, the smell of life, and the people who truly see me. I'm no longer the invisible bank. I'm the gardener, and my garden is finally free of weeds. If you've ever had to prune a dead leaf to save a tree, share this story. You are not alone.